Next we'll see the Z transforms. Okay, Z transform is another tool that is used to analyze the discrete functions. Actually, we have already seen discrete Fourier transform for the analysis of discrete function, but there are some boundaries limits for discrete Fourier transform, like normal Fourier transform. They will not suit for absolutely not integrable functions or unstable functions, but the Z transform can be applicable to the unstable signals or unstable functions also. So Z transform is discrete functions, and it is also used for unstable functions. Okay. So this is defined as x of z is equal to n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n z power minus n. That is the definition of the where z is the complex variable, where z is a complex variable and its value is z is equal to r e power j omega. So from this notation, we can directly get a relation between the DTFT and Z transform like this. So Z transform can be obtained from DTFT by substituting Z is equal to e power j omega. So in the formula, if you substitute Z is equal to e power j omega, you will get the same DTFT function. So DTFT and Z transforms are interrelated to each other. Okay. And the Z transform pair can be written as x of n is Z transform pair with x of z. It is z, capital Z. Okay. Region ROC, same as in Laplace transform. Z transforms also having ROC. ROC is the range of z values for which the function Z transform function can be convergence exists, is known as region of convergence. ROC can be determined by using it is used to determine the causality as well as stability of a system. So ROC is useful to design the stability as well as causality of a system. Okay, so what are the properties of ROC? Like your S-plane ROC or S-domain ROC, this is also having the same. But the difference between Z transform ROC and Z-plane and S-plane. So here also the plane is having both imaginary and real axis like this. Imaginary real axis and imaginary axis. We will write the same thing, but Z transform forms circles with radius of r. Has written Z is equal to r e power j some theta or j omega as the j omega. So r is the magnitude of this function, e power j t phi angle made from this plane is theta or omega angular frequency. So like this, the Z transforms are defined as a closed circles in a Z plane. So the r defines the radius of the circle, so which will defines the area till the function converges. Like this we will shadow either r away from the circle, this circle away. If r equal to 1, then z is equal to e power j omega t, where the radius is 1. Such circle is known as unity circle. So which is a unit circle space which is having a radius of r. So like that, the Z transform or Z plane is plotted. Okay. So in Laplace transform in S plane, we will take j omega axis, that is ROC is parallel to imaginary axis, but in Z plane they form closed circles with a radius of r. Okay, so ROC form consisting of rings in a Z plane centered about origin. ROC does not contain any pole. Same statement that exists in the S domain, the S plane also. So if here from this, here some small definitions will occur. So don't worry, while taking the problem you will come to know what the meaning of these properties. If x of n is a finite one, say if it is a finite one and the ROC is entire Z plane except at z equal to 0 and z equal to infinity, because the Z plane also finite, that is. Secondly, if r x a given function is right sided function, that is it is multiplying with u of n, and the sequence and z is equal to omega is a circle is in the ROC, then all the poles which are greater than z is greater than omega will be in the ROC. All the values of z which are greater than omega will be in the ROC. Similarly, if x of n is left sided sequence, then all the values which is below omega will be in the ROC. If it is a double sided function, then it forms a closed ring which lies between, like a strip line in S plane, the same strip line will forms in the Z plane. Okay. Next, if x of z is a rational number, then the ROC is bounded by its rational number, means it is bounded by plus or minus a, plus or minus 2j, like this. Then it bounded between those poles. If ROC x of z is rational and right sided, then the sequence ROC is region in Z plane outside the unit circle, after the circle of the outermost pole, outside the circle of outermost pole. Similarly, if it is left side function inside circle of innermost pole. For example, if we have an ROC like this, for example, if you are having here I am plotting for convenience. If we are having 3 circles, that is 3 poles, that is one, due to one ROC, this is RZ, it is then, and this is another one, and this is another. If the function is right sided function, then the ROC is outside of the outermost pole. This is outermost pole, and the ROC is outside of this outermost pole, and the remaining these 2 poles does not comes into this ROC. Similarly, if the function is left sided function, then if the function is left sided function, then the ROC is inside of the innermost pole. So innermost pole is this one, only this will comes into picture. Clear? So that is the meaning of those 2 statements. If ROC is right sided function, then its ROC is right outside of the outermost pole. If the ROC is left sided function, if the given function is left sided function, then its ROC is inside of innermost pole. Next, we will enter into the properties of Z transform. So Z transform, first property, linearity property. Linearity property says the sum of output is equal to value sum of output equal to sum of input. That is x1, if x1 of n is Z transform pair with x1 of z, x2 of n is Z transform pair with x2 of z, then ax1 of n plus bx2 of n is equal to ax1 of z plus bx2 of z. Proof. We know the formula for x of z is equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n e power minus j minus jn, z power minus n. So substituting the function here, ax1 of n plus a2 x2 of n, so it is z1, that is x1 of z, it is x2 of z, a1 x1 of z plus a2 x2 of z. So like that we will simplify, or we will get the formula, that is the property, linearity property. Next one is time shifting property. If x of n is Z transform pair with x of z, then x of n minus k is Z transform pair with z power minus k x of z. Z of x of n minus k is equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n minus k z power minus n. Let n minus k equal to m, hence n equal to x plus n, or m is equal to m also takes the same values, minus infinity to plus infinity. Then x of n minus k is equal to sigma m is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of m z power minus k plus m. I can divide z power minus k into z power minus n, and keep z power minus k outside the summation, then again the summation is equal to x of z. So x of n minus k is Z transform paired with Z power minus k into x of z. Hence it is proved. Next, frequency shifting property. If x of n is Z transform paired with x of z, then a power n x of n is x of z by a. This is scaling will be happen if you multiply with a constant in a constant power n in a time nth domain. So proof. Z of a power n x of n is equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity a power n x power x of n z power minus n. So sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n into A inverse of Z whole power, and you can take A inverse of Z into group. So it is equal to A inverse of Z, nothing but x of Z by A. Hence it is proved. Next, time scaling property. Time scaling property states that if x of n is Z transform pair with x of Z, then x of an is Z transform pair with x of Z power 1 by A. Proof. Consider the Z transform of x of an. So sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of an into Z power minus n. Now an is equal to some constant m. Then n equal to m by A. Substituting the same relations in the above expression, sigma m equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of m e power Z power x of m into Z power minus m by A. So you can rewrite Z power minus m by A as Z power 1 by A whole power minus m. So instead of Z we are having Z power 1 by A. So it is equal to x of Z by A, Z power 1 by A. So the time scaling property is x of an is equal to Z transform pair with x of Z power 1 by A. Next, time reversal property. So x of n is equal to x of Z, then x of, if you substitute to A equal to minus 1, it becomes proved directly. No need to again take the proof. So if you are having time scaling property in A, if A equal to minus 1, x of minus n is equal to Z power minus 1, that is 1 by Z. So hence the time reversal property is proved from time scaling property itself. The same things here we will continue. Okay, next one. The differentiation in Z domain. If x of n is Z transform pair with x of Z, then n into x of n is Z transform pair with minus d by dz of x of Z. Proof. X of Z is equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n Z power minus n. Taking differentiating on both with respect to Z, d by dz of x of Z x power n Z power minus n is Z minus d by minus is equal to minus of n into Z power minus n minus 1. So taking this Z in left hand side and left hand side, you get x of n. So Z 1 minus 1 by Z, Z of n of x of Z, nothing but your d by dz of x of Z is equal to Z transform of n into x of Z minus. Okay, so the proof is exact. Rearranging the expression, you will get the proof, the statement again. So integration in Z. Integration in Z, x of n is equal to x of Z. Then x of n by n plus a is Z transform pair with Z minus Z power a integral 0 to Z power minus a minus 1 into x of Z dz. The proof. So Z of x of n by n plus a is equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity to plus infinity x of n by n plus a Z inverse. Okay. Now the next is sigma n equal to minus n plus infinity x of n minus x of n into Z power minus Z power a integral 0 to Z n of dz. So taking that into account, since this factor is equal to this one, so this factor is equal to can be written as Z power minus of n minus a by minus of n plus a 0 to Z power minus n by minus of n plus n, or minus Z power minus n by n plus a. So sigma is equal to sigma n equal to minus infinity plus infinity. You can take this into the account, and finally it is equal to the same, that is the property. Hence it is proved. X of n by n plus a Z transform pair with minus Z power a sigma integral 0 to Z power minus a minus 1 x of Z dz. Convolution in time domain. As we know that convolution in one domain is equal to multiplication in its transform domain. That is, x of n is convoluting with x1 of Z, x2 of n is convoluting with x2 of Z, then x1 of n convolution with x2 of n is equal to x1 of Z convoluting with x2 of Z. Proof. Take the convolution sum formula and then take the Fourier Z transform for the convolution, and we have like this. So the convolution sum will be explained in the next video. Thank you.